There's a video on YouTube I was watching some time ago with Eve Sweetser doing a lecture. It's in my favourites, assuming this video is on YouTube. It's in my favourites. It's a great lecture. It's about viewpoint in language, but there's one section in it where I can't remember the context in which this arises, but she's talking about objects that are quite close to you. Actually, maybe it's not in. Anyway, yeah. She's talking about objects that are quite close to you, and how an object that lies within a radius of about 2 feet from the body triggers a different kind of activation pattern in the brain to objects that are a bit further away. And if an object is approaching you, or if you are approaching an object, like I am to this bunch of nettles here, and you get to within about 3 feet of it, a different activation pattern kicks in. I can almost feel that actually. I'm just going to do that again to see if I can actually feel it. Of course, now that I know I'm doing it, I'm probably making it up, but I'll try again. So you get to within about 3 feet and something happens. A different kind of activation pattern kicks in. I don't know what the original reference for that is, and I have had a quick look for it. I haven't found it yet, but I'll keep looking. But I think the logic for that idea, for the fact that something which is very proximal kicking in, is to do with that proximity. I mean, that 2 foot radius really is the embrace of the arms, isn't it? You know, if something is that close to you, like when I'm walking to this nettle, a different nettle, and I get within that distance, that critical distance is the distance in which I can actually reach out and touch it, or brush against it, and potentially be affected by it in some way. In this case, negatively, but it could be positively if I'm approaching something attractive, perhaps something nourishing. So it seems to me that there's this proximal distance, this particular distance of a couple of feet, and the reach of the arms is, I guess, a kind of boundary, not exactly a boundary, but it's a significant landmark, I think, in the kind of space around us, and how we think about that space, and how our cognitive processes understand that space and prepare us in different ways for occupying that space. You know, certainly something that's in the orbit of my arms can hurt me or can help me. I can touch it and it can touch me, and that touching is very different to the kind of touching that happens if something or someone has come inside of that orbit. You know, if something is within the reach of my arms, perhaps is pressing against my skin more intimately. That's a very different experience. I don't really know where I'm going with that, or even why I'm thinking about that really. But I guess I'm just thinking, because I've been thinking a lot about touch recently, over the last couple of days, and about touching different kinds of certainties, and touching beliefs, and touching knowledge. It seems to me there's a subtle difference there in the different kinds of touch, which is perhaps instantiated neurologically. There's a kind of touch which becomes possible when something is proximal, the kind of touch that is involved in baton passing, or is involved in, you know, rebuffing an advance, or grabbing someone, or possibly pulling something closer. There's that kind of touch. And then there's the touch which is much more intimate, when something has passed that boundary and is up close and personal.